Welcome back to Zombies Deep Dive. Before we start, YouTube analytics show only 14% of you guys are subscribed, so hit that sub button, blah 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 blah. But seriously, welcome back to Zombies Deep Dive. This is the final video on the World of War 4, and the next episode will start with Black Ops 1, so if you like that, then make sure to stick around. And if you are interested in watching the first 3 videos, check the playlist in the cards, but let's just jump into it. Reise is the finale of World of War Zombies. It brought a lot to the table and really launched Call of Duty Zombies to the forefront. I said in my Numa review that Numa walked so Reise could run. What I meant by that is that there were many features in Numa that just weren't executed very well, but Reise brought them full circle. The Hellhounds, the Wunderwaffe, the Ultimus characters, all out of place in Numa, but feel right at home here in Reise. This is the Group 935 facility. Everything I mentioned about not belonging in Numa, they came from here. The Hellhounds was Samantha's dog Fluffy being experimented on, and it went wrong. The Wunderwaffe is an Element 115 infused lightning gun that Richthofen himself created. We also learn a bit more about other characters, including Richthofen and Maxis' relationship. Along with them are characters like Sophia and H. Porter, and to top it all off, Samantha Maxis. Reise added a few missing pieces to the modern zombies puzzle. You see, it was fine enough to grab a weapon and try your best to survive, but adding things like perks and traps were a few puzzle pieces to make the game mode into the best it could be. The final 2 things that were added to the COD Zombies puzzle, and they were directly woven into each other and the gameplay around it. The first is the fast travel. While technically the zipline in Numa was there first, these came in the form of teleporters. True fast travel. There are 3 around the map, and you need to find and link each of the teleporters by running from the pad to the mainframe. Linking a teleporter brings it online for the rest of the game, and it costs 1500 points to teleport to the mainframe. However, you're not totally scammed for saving 10 seconds of running, as you can be rewarded with a power-up. Linking all 3 teleporters, however, that rewards you with the final and most important piece in the zombies puzzle, Pack-a-Punch. For 5,000 points, you can upgrade your weapon to increase its damage, ammo size, and sometimes it can have a special ability, and with the cherry on top is given the weapon a goofy name. I don't think I can stress enough how revolutionary Pack-a-Punch was for Reise. I mean, think about it. Pack-a-Punch is so essential to modern zombies that if it's too difficult to get on a certain map, most players will just toss that map to the side. Pack-a-Punch literally doubled a zombie game's lifespan. Instead of round 15, you got to round 30, thus making higher rounds more and more accessible, which makes zombies more exciting for more people. Pack-a-Punch was about as close to risk versus reward as we got in World at War. The risk was that A, you were spending 5,000 points, and B, Pack-a-Punch, at least on this map, is in a pretty tight spot. And it's pretty easy to get mauled by zombies if you're doing this mid-round, but the reward is a very powerful weapon, so it's worth it. This change, this simple weapon upgrade change, revolutionized zombies forever. And it solidifies what I believe is what makes Reise the first real zombies map. Reise expertly blends all the ingredients of zombies we had before. An analogy I like to use is a pizza, and I would describe each map in the World of War 4 as an ingredient. Noct is the dough. It's basic, bland, but without it, there would be nothing for the other ingredients to rest on. It's essentially the foundation. Verrucht is the tomato sauce. It adds key, important flavors, but isn't really thought about that much other than it just being there. Numa is like the toppings. Putting it on top of just tomato sauce and that's it, it makes no sense. It's out of place, and it feels like something is missing. That something is Reise, aka the cheese. It really makes the whole thing, and is mainly the first thing you see when you think of a pizza. However, without any previous layers, it would be a complete dumpster fire. Even though I never played Reise until after I played the Giant, I can still go back and play it and really appreciate what it did. I can look back on this map and say, yeah, that was a pretty good map, without any nostalgia goggles. But that doesn't mean that it's a perfect map. Most of my problems with the World at War Reise were mostly bugs with its primitive engine. The main things are the black hole zombies, which plague World at War as a whole, but when I try to train on Reise, sometimes it's just plain unfair. For those unaware, in World at War, if you are close to a zombie, even if you are facing in the other way, and the zombie is behind you, you will still get sucked in. It's hard to explain if you haven't played World at War, but this is really annoying. The other issue is the Wonderwaff Juggernog glitch. Basically, if you get the lightning effect on your screen and you have Juggernog, the perk effect is essentially removed. Now, both of these issues would be resolved in every other Reise iteration following the World at War version, but I think if we are solely judging the original, it has to be criticized for somehow. Another criticism I have of the map, and this is more of a nitpick than anything, is that this is a really small map and it makes the teleporters useless. Only in very rare cases does actually using the teleporters really help you out. To start, they are 1500 points to use. While I pointed out earlier that you can get a drop for teleporting, this doesn't happen every time, and this map is so small that using teleporters as a convenience just isn't viable. This is a nitpick in general, but I think this issue was also magnified in Shi no Numa when you had to spend 1500 points to move like 20 feet. This map introduced some other staples to zombies. This includes the monkey bomb, which is a great utility tool to get the zombies off your back for a few minutes. Tossing one distracts the zombies and plays a cool musical tune until it explodes, killing some of the zombies at least. The monkey bomb is iconic and its level of importance is always welcome. I've never heard someone get mad about getting monkeys out of the box. Pretty much every zombies map afterwards has either had the monkey bombs or some sort of iteration on them. Another staple is the Bowie knife. Costing 3,000 points, the Bowie knife is a one-hit kill until round 10 and makes an excellent investment for the skilled player. The Bowie knife can be an essential part of your setup process depending on the difficulty of the map. I know every time I play Shangri-La on Black Ops 1, I buy the Bowie knife. It's these little additions that aren't really necessary but add more power to your kit. Reise also introduces some Easter eggs. While in previous maps, Easter eggs were very subtle or just radios, this was technically the first quest-based Easter egg. You need a pack-a-punched weapon, then you need to shoot this panel outside of the map. Then you need to go find 3 teddy bears hidden around the map. While not very exciting, this is the first time we get to hear Samantha speak for herself. She's angry and devious and seems like a force that you shouldn't mess with. Connecting the teddy bears with Samantha really started the wild goose chase of the zombie storyline. Think of this like the Noct of Easter eggs. Primitive, simple, and doesn't really do much other than just being there. Reise is a rare map in the zombie saga that I call fairly difficult. This would be a philosophy that Jason Blundell would strongly follow as he went on to make his legacy maps, but I do want to highlight what I mean by this. When I say fairly difficult, I don't mean it's kinda difficult, I mean the map is hard, but fair at the same time. Not many pre-Blundell maps do this. To my knowledge, it's Reise, Call of Dead, and Buried. These maps are all challenging, but are also not full of utter nonsense. To start, the Juggernog location isn't easily accessible. It makes sense that the strongest perk is also in the easiest spot to get trapped in. There's also the play space. While Reise is viable for training, you don't have a massive area to do it in. Most of the training spots are pretty tight, but also have some means of escape if things are getting out of hand. But if, like most of the World at War crowd, training wasn't really in your skill bank yet, you could always camp at the infamous Reise catwalk. This is probably the best camping spot in all of Call of Duty Zombies. It's you against the Horde, and your only line of defense is your gun. Depending on how strong that gun is what determines the outcome of the game. Alongside that, there are other strategies like stacking a bunch of mines up here in case things get really dicey. You can also kill zombies down in the courtyard before they get up here in case to lighten the load a bit. The more players you have, the more you can cover, but being up here with 3 other players is outstanding. Especially on the higher rounds, this becomes absolute chaos. Or, if you're good, a Beauty of Annihilation. Now when you think of this era of zombies, what do you think of? 4 stereotypical loudmouths pumped up on Element 115 infused soda, with laser guns kicking some zombie butts. And what better to complement that scenario than Beauty of Annihilation? The songs before in previous maps were a bit slower and more about the zombies and the impending doom. But Beauty of Annihilation just gets your head banging. You know when you hear this song come on, it's gonna be a good time. It's like for the first time you are the predator and the zombies are hearing the Jaws theme. I won't go too in depth about the music until each map comes around, but rock and roll fits zombies perfectly. On the topic of music, however, Riese was a cultural phenomenon. Rise's influence spread the name of Call of Duty Zombies far and wide, and this took the form of the first zombie YouTubers, and also some musical numbers spawned from this map, none more iconic than...
I'm on Reise. I'm on Reise. Everybody look at me, cause I'm pissing on the
Like I stated earlier, I can't really understand the absolute nostalgia of playing on Reise, but I think I had the next best thing. Reise Declassified was an amazing map to play, and I have to give full props to the map makers. Unlike the Giant, which seemed a lot more close to a remaster, I think this custom map gave me the full scope and understanding of why people loved Reise so much. Thank you to TZ Ghost, Eric Menard, Connor Sivley, Lucas Weiss, Ducky Kaljitsu, and Hitman Ver, sorry if I mispronounced one of those names, for making this map to help me finally understand what made Reise so great. And let me caveat that statement. It's not that I didn't appreciate Reise before, it's that I was raised in an era of quest-based maps and never really got to play anything that preceded it. So I never really saw the Giant as anything exciting or great, just a simple zombies map and nothing more. But I believe it's more than that. Reise is a simple to pick up and play map, and it's actually quite difficult to pull off, but it also does it fairly. It never tosses anything ridiculously hard at you, nor does it treat you unfairly. It's difficult because of the arena in which you are killing the zombies makes it that way, but it also allows you to go as far as you want without being 100% precise or accurate. You can make mistakes along the way, but you also need to learn from those mistakes. You can sit up on the catwalk, but you can't just mindlessly shoot your gun. You can run in a circle, but you still need to adapt and adjust for when your train can easily get out of control. I won't say Reise is perfect, and there are maps that go above and beyond, and with its primitive World at War engine, I do believe that this map was held back a bit, and that's why I'm giving Reise an 8.9 out of 10, A tier.